the world is once again holding its breath. In the shadows of diplomacy and the glare of military power, tensions between the United States and Iran are reaching a critical moment. War is not declared, peace is not guaranteed, and somewhere in between, history may be quietly preparing to turn another page. At the center of this unfolding drama stands President Donald Trump, a leader known for unpredictability, pressure tactics, and bold declarations. And across the ocean, a regime that has survived sanctions, protests, assassinations, and decades of isolation now faces one of the most serious challenges to its authority since 1979. This is not just about geopolitics. This is about power, survival, and time running out. In recent days, President Trump has sent a clear message: help may be on the way, but patience is not unlimited. When asked aboard Air Force One whether the United States had decided on military action against Iran, the president refused to reveal details. Instead, he offered something more unsettling. Negotiations are happening, quietly, seriously, but negotiations backed by force. Trump made it clear that Iran has a choice: reach a deal that eliminates any nuclear weapons capability, or face consequences that may reshape the region forever. This is not idle talk. As U.S. naval assets move into the Persian Gulf and advanced fighter aircraft deploy closer to Iranian airspace, the message is unmistakable. Military planning is real, and it is ongoing. Yet, unlike past administrations, this White House is keeping its cards close. Even America's Gulf allies are not being briefed on operational details. The strategy appears deliberate. Uncertainty itself has become a weapon. Meanwhile, inside Iran, the situation is rapidly deteriorating. Widespread protests continue to erupt across major cities. Streets that once echoed with chants of resistance are now scenes of violent crackdowns. Human rights groups estimate that tens of thousands may have been killed or disappeared during recent unrest. The Iranian regime denies these numbers, but the silence speaks louder than denials. The Ayatollah's government now faces pressure on three fronts: economic collapse, internal rebellion, and external military threat. This combination is rare and dangerous. From Washington's perspective, Iran is weaker than it has been in decades. Over the past year, Iranian-backed proxy groups across the Middle East have suffered severe blows. Hezbollah has been pushed back, Hamas has been degraded, Islamic Jihad has lost operational capability. Supply routes once protected by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps have been disrupted. Even Iran's missile and air defense systems, long considered a regional deterrent, have shown vulnerabilities. Recent conflicts exposed gaps that U.S. planners have been studying closely. For military analysts, the conclusion is sobering. Iran's deterrence is no longer absolute, but power is not only measured in weapons. Inside Iran, cracks are beginning to show within the regime itself. Intelligence assessments suggest growing tension between ideological hardliners and elements of the regular military. There are reports of refusal to participate in internal crackdowns, signs of hesitation, signs of doubt. These are subtle indicators, but in authoritarian systems, subtlety matters. History teaches us that regimes do not always fall from invasion. Sometimes they collapse from within. President Trump's demands remain firm. First, Iran must abandon any nuclear weapons ambition. Second, the regime must end the killing of its own citizens. Third, Iran must halt regional destabilization through proxy warfare. From the White House's view, these are non-negotiable red lines. Yet the question remains: will Iran bend or will it break? Some analysts believe the regime may seek survival through compromise. They point to history, moments when pressure forced Iran to step back from confrontation. When sanctions tightened, when isolation deepened, Tehran has shown flexibility. But others warn that desperation can be just as dangerous as defiance. A cornered regime may lash out, or gamble everything. The stakes extend far beyond Iran. Nearly 20% of the world's oil flows through waters that could be disrupted overnight. A wider conflict would ripple through global markets, energy prices, and security alliances. China is watching. Russia is watching. North Korea is watching. What happens next will send signals far beyond the Middle East. President Trump has framed the situation in his own unmistakable language. Iran can choose peace, or it can choose pressure. And pressure in this context does not mean words. It means aircraft carriers. It means missile defense systems. It means the quiet movement of forces long before headlines appear. Still, Trump has left the door open. A deal is possible. A deal that prevents war. A deal that stops nuclear weapons. A deal that ends bloodshed. But time is not on Iran's side. Every protest, every crackdown, every escalation narrows the path forward. This moment feels familiar, yet different. Some compare it to Venezuela, where military pressure and international isolation boxed in a regime without triggering immediate conflict. Others see echoes of the Cold War, where standoffs reshaped nations without a single shot fired. But Iran is not Venezuela, and this is not the Cold War. This is a volatile mix of ideology, regional ambition, and domestic unrest, unfolding under a U.S. president who does not operate by traditional rules. So the question remains unanswered. Will Iran strike a deal and step back from the edge? Or will this pressure campaign lead to something far bigger, something irreversible? No one knows. Not Washington, not Tehran, not the allies watching nervously from the sidelines. What is certain is this: the clock is ticking, the balance is shifting, and history rarely waits for those who hesitate too long.